it took some time and effort to track down Bruno Cathala, one of the most famous designers right now. So how are you doing here?
Fine, I'm fine, really fine. It's the last day of the fair, and we are quite tired, but it was an exciting fair, so all is okay.
So you're getting busier every year. So with the new popular games, you get more popular. People want to sign, want to speak to you, right?
I'm not sure that it's because we are being more popular, but the way I'm working here is different. At the beginning, we spend our time to take appointments, to show prototypes, etc. And now I think it has no sense because publishers have not time enough. So I prefer to take my time to share my passion with all the gamers who are coming on the fair and speaking with them, making signature if they want, but just sharing our passion for games.
Great. If you would start from the very core, can you tell me why you're designing board games?
Just because I love games. Since I am a child, I always like to play myself. And then around me, I had no real gamer, so I was the only one to buy the games, to read the rules, to teach them to the others. And year after year, you begin to want to modify something in the system, and then you say, hey, maybe I could create my games. And this takes a long time because, it's impossible to create something if you have not a big knowledge of what is done. You have first to play a lot before being able to create a game. It's same for a writer. You have first to read a lot of books before writing yours. And then I tried, and I was a lucky guy because my first prototype was published.
Great, great. Do you play other games besides your own or your friends' prototypes?
The other games I play are quite always prototypes from my friends. It's not because I don't want to play the game from the market. It's just because I have not time enough. Like I said, I have not a big amount of players around me. So I have only one playtesting session each week. And that means that when I come with my prototypes, it takes all the evening. So sometimes I would like to play more, but I have not time enough. So I read internet to know what happened, to read rules. And when we met together with the other designers, I play their prototypes, but that's all.
But on other evenings in the week, besides that one prototyping event?
Sorry, pardon?
The other evenings in the week, besides that one prototyping event?
I'm working.
All right. But do you play your own games after they have been published, like besides prototype? Do you play them on?
For sure. Yes, because I can only work on games I want to play myself. So it's quite a selfish attitude, but I'm designing games for myself. And then I try to share my passion. But when I really like one of my games, I play it a lot. And that's the reason why I'm able to create expansion for that game. It's just because my experience of a game is really huge. So now I have some other ideas. For example, Five Tribes has been released 1 year ago, and I'm still playing it very regularly. Mr. Jack has been released 9 years ago. It will be the 10th anniversary next year. And I'm still playing quite each week, but online. Okay. So yes, there are a lot of my games I play myself years and years after the release.
Do you ever get tired of one of the games? If you play your own games, you first design, you first prototype them. It's, I think, like lots of gameplays. And then after that, do you ever get tired of your games?
Sometimes. Sometimes there are some of my games which are not so exciting when I've played them hundreds of times. But there are some of them who stays. For example, Mr. Jack, Cyclades, Five Tribes, could say Mo, my small card games with Cause. More, I play it each day, 2 or 3 times. Yes, because at 12, I go to eat with my friends, and after the dinner, we always play more, drinking the coffee together each day.
Awesome. Question about the Seven Wonders Duel. You designed it with Antoine Bauza, and you definitely playtested it a lot together. The question, who of you won these games more?
Me, yeah. I think that against me, Antoine won only one time, but it was the good one because it was in front of the camera.
That's great. One of the things we noticed in your designs is a really smooth and elegant gameplay. So it goes really like smoothly. There is nothing like fiddly. It looks like it's really work in. You really make an effort to make it. Is it so, or does it come naturally?
Both. Yes, because sometimes it comes naturally because it's what I like, and sometimes my initial design is not so smooth, and then I think that it's my job to make it smoother. Yeah.
So there are such elegant, beautiful games like Cyclades, Five Tribes, Abyss, then Shadows of a Camelot, and then there is Prt. Prt. How did that happen?
We drank a lot first. No, at first it was a joke. First I designed Mo, the game I was speaking, and one of the version of Mo, you had the big box, and when you open the box, it says Moo. And Ludovic Maublanc, my friend, which was there, said, "Oh, we should have to make a box which says," and then we designed the game.
That's great.
But it's a party game; it's a joke.
Yeah, when we heard about that, it took so much time to find the game, but we have it at last. So tell me, how all these ideas are born in your head?
It depends. I'm never sit at the table and try to think. I have to create something. You know, the sparkling ideas came at any time, but mainly I will think when I'm driving, or riding my bike, or taking a shower. It's incredible. During the shower, sometimes I have some incredible ideas. For example, Mr. Jack Pocket was created during my shower. And then you have, when the sparking idea is there, then you have to develop it, and this is work.
The question, you know that there are people who buy games just because one of their favorite designers made it. How does it make you feel? Does it give a pressure, or what do you think about people buying games not knowing about them just because of the designer?
For example, for me, it's hard to understand because I'm a gamer, and there are some games I really like, and I can be admirative. I don't know if it's a good word in English, but I can really like the design inside, but that don't mean for me that the designer will always do things that I won't say good things, but things I will like myself. Yeah. So, and if you see the games, if you look at the games I've created, they are so different. Yeah. So if you have loved Cyclades, maybe I'm not sure that you will like, for example, more, or for example, so. I think that people should always have looked at before, but for sure, it's a lot of fun, not fun, but it's really positive to me that people come to me and say, I like your work, and it's a way to say I like your work to buy your games. But I'm not sure there are so many people buying games only with a name. I think it's true for books, but for games. Yes, there are some, but not so much.
I can say I like your games. Cyclades is my top number one, Abyss my top number two. So
You have a very good taste.
thank you. Um, did you ever think that there is not much left new and original to design in games? So there are like 800 games coming out in Essen this year, for example. In order to make a new game, it should be something new and original. Did you ever have a problem or thought that the new ideas will just eventually have to end?
The thing is that now I'm not sure that you have to be original. At what I say, if you want to be so original that your game is unique, you have a big chance that a few people will understand it. I think that you have to seem to be original, to have something special inside, but with a lot of things that people are comfortable with. And this is a good way to share more widely your game, in my opinion. If you are not to relearn a lot of things, but just few things which makes the game different, a twist inside, something like that, I think you have better chance to be successful.
All right. About the 5 tribes and slaves in there. There was a really big buzz about that the 5 tribes is promoting slavery and that. Yeah, I want to know your comment about that.
For sure, for me, 5 Tribes never promotes slavery. 5 Tribes is a game with a team which is Arabian Nights. Just read the books. In all the stories in Arabian Nights, you have slaves. And it's not real life. Arabian Nights are just I don't have a good word in English, but it's not a dream, but it's something. It's a fiction, okay? So I made a game connected with a fiction. So I was connected with all the things which were into the fiction. And there were slaves, I put slaves in that. Yeah. So for me, I had no problem with that. It's not promoting slavery. Yeah. So it was hard to understand for me, this negative buzz, you are promoting slavery. Never. For example, taking Mr. Jack. In Mr. Jack, one of the players is Jack the Ripper. Okay? Do you think that he's a serial murderer? I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's Legends of Whitechapel, which were the same thing. So to me, the problem came for me like out of the blue. I was so surprised that someone could see that.
We were also surprised, but this negative buzz came from the US. Yeah. And they have not the same story than us with slavery. That means it's more fresh. Yeah. At first, I said, never mind, it's just being political correctly. But I received personal mails from 3 or 4 black people from the US, not asking me to change anything, just trying to explain me why they were hurted. And they told me their personal story, or their family's personal story, with their grandfather still being a slave, and understanding that my game was a fiction game and that it was quite normal to have slaves inside, but never mind if it was normal, it was something hard for them because of their personal story. And when reading this mail, we had a discussion with my publisher, and we say, we are creating games. We just want people to be happy. And is it important that there are slaves in that game? These cards are only jokers. So we could have something else for jokers, and we decided to change. Not because of this lot of buzz, but because of 3 or 4 personal histories asking not to change anything.
But when you replace the slaves to fakirs, they're still on the market, you're still buying and selling them. Did you get any comment on that? So it's basically doesn't really change much because instead of slaves, you have fakirs, but they're still human. Did you get any feedback on that?
A few.
But
Not much. The only comment we have is that the icon on the basic tiles are still if you have bought the basic game, the initial print, you have the icon with slaves, and then if you buy the expansion, you have icon with Fakirs. But really, it doesn't matter because the icon is so small that at a normal distance you cannot recognize that you have both. We did the experience there. On Days of Wonder booth, you have all the standard game with the expansion. So mixing the two categories of icon, and nobody saw that. Nobody.
okay, can you tell a little bit of your upcoming games?
I will have some new games next year, small card games, which will be named Zany Penguins in English, Pingvasion in German, and Manchot Barjot in French. And it's a crazy card game in which you have in front of a tribe of penguins and you want just to rule the world. Like everybody knows, penguins try to invade the world and the moon.
Yeah, of course, it's just a general fact.
It's a general fact, yes. I also will have a more big box, also with Bombix as publisher, in which you have to create a theater group, a theater team, to make the best event in front of the king at the end of each season. And it has been illustrated very nicely in a poetic world in which people are animals, like in the books of La Fontaine, for example. The name is Histrio. Yeah. And what have not still been shown yet, that I will have another game, end of next year or beginning of 17, steampunk atmosphere, but dedicated to gamers.
Steampunk?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw somewhere a board and a picture of Nakala. Can you tell about that? It looked really interesting at the big board as well.
So we are still discussing about that project with Days of Wonder because the game is in the same team than 5 Tribes. But all the mechanisms are really different. So we will probably do, I hope, a big box like 5 Tribes in the same country, the same atmosphere, but with different mechanism and different game. A standalone. No mechanism will be the same in 5 Tribes and the new one.
That's interesting. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we really enjoyed speaking with you, and I can actually say that you are me and Ilya's favorite designer of all.
Oh, thank you very much. Don't forget to say the same thing to Antoine, please.
Will. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.